The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
and welcome to sunny Florida for the season finale of the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series. 100 laps of racing action are in store for us tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and we're going to have it all for you live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. We also have our pit reporter today. It's going to be Dawson Brock, and behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and also our camera sets are going to be provided by Dougie Beard. A set of HPP simulation pedals will be on their way to our champion tonight, but who will that be? We're just 100 laps away from finding out, Tanner, at a track that is renowned for producing some exciting season finales.
Yes, sir, Sam. Homestead Miami Speedway, also considered known as your championship track, is a 1.5 mile racetrack, mile and a half, with 18 to 20 degrees of progressive banking in the corners and 3 degrees of banking on the front stretch and back stretch. 100 laps these guys will be turning with a 60% fuel load, so about approximately 33 laps on a tank of fuel, but tires will be a concern here tonight. Everybody's driving the same setup as you see on your screen. It is a late afternoon setting with partly cloudy, 78 air temperature, and track temperature is 86 degrees. So to get around this mile and a half, let's hop on board the GSRC Chevrolet Silverado here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway in Miami, Florida. I am Ryan Yazek, sending you for a lap around Homestead Speedway. The reason I'm starting on pit road is because Homestead has a very tricky exit and entrance, and I will cover both. So, without further ado, here we go. Drop it in gear, watch the pit lane speed limit, and this part of the track, the run area, I think is pretty much left over from when the track was a flat oval. Absolutely no banking for the truck to grip to as you're coming through here, waiting, and now you can finally get onto the loud pedal, merge out into the back straightaway, put it down into high gear, and here we go. Coming through 3 and 4 on my warm-up lap, I'm going to take you around 2 laps around here. The first is going to be kind of a mock qualifying run. The second one is going to be kind of how you're going to want to run this truck from the longer run standpoint. Out of turn 4. Watch it, here we come underneath the start-finish line here, getting ready for our entrance into turn 1. You're going to want to drive this truck almost way down into the bottom of the corner, letting it up, letting it float, coming through the corner, and coming out, waiting to get some momentum. Running here, there's a transition right there out of turn 2 that makes it very, very tricky. Entering turn 3, watch where the safe wall comes in. You're letting off about that line right there. You're going to let it float, and if you overdrive this corner, it will punish you, because you're going to get tight. Now, also coming out of turn 4, you're going to find yourself running high. So now, we're going to run this lap kind of as a longer run. So now you're going to notice you're letting off way earlier. You're letting the truck float. You're letting it find grip. Because over the course of a long run, this truck is going to be screaming at you for grip. You're going to be fighting loose off. You're going to be fighting tight. You're going to be pretty much fighting everything here. Coming into turn 3, once again, nice long entrance. Really let the truck take a seat. And you're going to ease back into the gas right here, coming around turn 4. Watch it, because the truck will want to push up to the wall. And now you have completed your laps around Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, the bigger trick is getting back onto pit road, especially at the end of a long run when those tires are greasy, they're hot, they're slick, they're worn out, and just screaming to be changed. You're going to come off of turn 2 here, coming on down the back stretch. You're looking for your mark, and now you're going to want to dive in. Really heavy on the braking, slowing it down from 160 miles an hour down to 3rd gear. You're scrambling for grip. The truck doesn't want to come through here. Coming out right here, you can actually kind of start to get back down on the brake, 2nd gear, and hit the line, and you're on pit road. And that's a lap around Homestead Miami Speedway.
Well, that is the track, and a very fun little track it is, but as we mentioned, it is the season finale. A championship is on the line tonight as the trucks roll off of pit road to do, they've got 5 minutes of qualifying. They each have a track to themselves for 2 laps simultaneously, so we'll try and keep up with it as best as possible. Let's talk about those 4 drivers fighting for the championship. They're Brian Jarzik, Jordan Eriksson, Michael Krobach, and Nick Cohan. 11 points separate all of them. You would think that is close. Well, yes, it is. The problem is, there's only 16 trucks here tonight, so Nick Cohan is really going to have to depend on a win, with each position being worth 1 point, and hope that the other 3 wreck out. Michael Krobach, I'd almost say, Tanner, has to depend on something similar happening. Really, it looks like the championship fight is going to come down to Brian Yazik and Jordan Erickson.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Sam. Between Brian Yazik, Jordan Erickson, only 2 points separate those drivers right now. They do have a little bit of a leeway to Michael Krobach, but if Michael Krobach wants a shot at winning this championship, he's A, going to need to get a bonus point under his belt, and B, lead the most laps, and C, win the race. And if possible, have something bad happen to Brian Yazik and Jordan Erickson to where he can make up those points, since there's only a 16-car field currently in this race. And Nick Cohan, well, all he's going to have to do is do the same as Michael Krobach, lead the most laps and win the race, and see what the outcome will be at the end of the night. But although it's going to be a very tight crunch between Yazik and Erickson.
First laps have came in. Gary Whitson is currently the provisional pole sitter. During over half of a practice session, we saw drivers just trying to get a hot qualifying run in, see how far they can go. I don't know how critical qualifying is going to be, considering we have a relatively small field and 100 laps of racing action ahead, but all these drivers trying to get any advantage they can. And right now, Gary Whitson does have a nice advantage in qualifying, but still lots of trucks left to put on a lap.
Yeah, they're running some pretty solid lap times, a lot faster than what I was running earlier today at Homestead. I was running 31.9, but that was in a different weather setting. Here it's a little cooler outside, so they're gonna run a little faster. And look who's on top of the board there. Michael Krobach sitting up there in the second position, along with his teammate Brian Yazik. So this is going to be an interesting pair, and the lap times are awfully bad close.
Of the chase drivers, or the pursuit drivers as we call them, in the pursuit of the pedals, Jordan Erickson has yet to turn the lap, as has Nick Cohan. I can tell you Erickson's coming out of turn 4 right now. He was second fastest in practice, goes second fastest in qualifying, and I think a lot of these drivers here, Tanner, are going to be one and done. The tyres just seem to go off a little bit too quick.
Yeah, this track, it does chew up the tires here at Homestead. Drivers will probably dive to the bottom on their first opening lap, especially during the race. But eventually, these drivers are going to go look for that middle groove to higher groove for extra grip, and let the car rotate so you can find that grip in the middle of the racetrack.
Mark McCrary has taken provisional pole by over 100th of a second over Gary Whitson. We're watching, I believe this is our final pursuit driver, yet to set a lap time. It is Nick Cohan. He's going down the back straight right now. Another notable driver who's yet to turn the qualifying lap is Drew Carroll, and he was the fastest driver in qualifying, so we'll keep an eye on him if he comes out on the track. Cohan crosses the line. Where's he going to go? Second.
Get that. Nick Cohan up there in the second spot. Erickson currently 4th. Krobach 6th. Yazik 7th. So all pursuit drivers are currently within the top 10, starting in the top 10. It's going to be really exciting because you got Erickson 4th, Yazik in 7th. Oh, man, I'm ready to get this race going.
Drew Carroll is taken to the track. I don't know if they're going to extend the the time at the end of qualifying here, though, because he'll cross the line before the clock runs out. I know iRacing every now and then it's funny as to whether it means the drivers on track still get to complete their lap or not. Although if Drew Carroll knocks the wall down out of turn 4, he won't have a chance. Alright, so let's see. Drew Carroll's certainly going to go for it.
Definitely going to go for it, and I don't think there's an option for race officials to extend the qualifying time. I guess it is what it is. It is now up, and I don't think, nope, he is not going to make his qualifying time. So according to where he's going to start, he will start in the 13th spot tonight. I'm sure we can go through the driver's field here, the grid.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give that True Power Pole Award to Mark McCrary. He was third fastest in practice. He took the pole by 7 thousandths of a second over Nick Cohan. Gary Whitson not too far behind him. You see the intervals on your screen there, just 15 thousandths of a second back in third place. Lined up alongside him, pursuit driver Jordan Erickson. Austin Missler and Michael Krobach are on row 3, and then Brian Jarzik is back in 7th. Don't be too discouraged though, Jarzik fans. He's usually a driver who performs a bit better in the races and qualifying. Lined up alongside him is Bryce Whitson, and the guarantee that Bryce will take 2 tyres at some point today. He always seems to do that. Mark Myers and Robert Barber round out the top 10.
Outside the top 10, Aaron Kleinhans will start in the 11th position tonight. Last car to take a qualifying lap will be Michael Kunik. There you see it right there with the 31. He'll start a roll-off 12th position. Mr. Excitement himself, as we like to call him on Tuesday nights, will start 13th. That is Drew Carroll. Jeffrey Gilliam in the Sim Racing Apps machine will start 14th, Jackie Pelmore in 15th, and Tim Knott will round out this 16 truck field.
Gonna hand it over to the third member of our commentary team tonight, Dawson Brock. Dawson, the truck's getting gridded up on the pits. Who's caught your eye in practice and qualifying here?
I know Drew put down a pretty quick lap, but I guess if you really want to look at who's been consistent between qualifying time and practice time, I like Mark up there, but Jordan Erickson, I mean, second in practice, I think he might have something tonight, especially with only 2 points out of that lead. I think I'm going to watch him tonight.
Yeah, and the other thing, Tanner, that I noticed about Jordan during practice, even though he put that second fastest practice time, as Dawson just mentioned, he wasn't in the practice session for that long. He was one of the ones that came in late with about 30-40 minutes left to go in the 90-minute session. And so, as Dawson mentioned, he definitely seems to have a hot rod tonight.
He definitely does. He has proven to have a top 5 car, at least a top 5 car tonight. Another driver that's proven to have a top 5 car, but he's starting outside the top 5. I'm going to keep an eye on Brian Jarzik tonight. I mean, he is that close, only 2 points ahead of the championship lead. And once the green flag drops, he's got some work to cut out to keep up with Jordan Erickson.
Yeah, so those are the 2 names that you are going to hear a lot of tonight. But let's put the camera on Mark McCreary, because the Ford Mustang pace car is about to make the hard left turn. And for the final time in 2016, the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series is green.
Nick Cohen, the jerky man, gets caught sleeping on the start of this race with a commanding lead of Mark McCreary entering down turn number 1. First side-by-side battle is Jordan Erickson taking the 3rd spot away from Nick Cohen.
Gary Whitson is a driver that capitalized on Cohan's bad start to move up into 2nd position. As you mentioned, the first battle was for 4th, and right now the low line is the desired line, but that will change as the race goes on.
It's definitely going to change, and we talked at the top of the show that tires could be a concern, and this track does eat up the tires in the opening laps. Sure, you can say, well, 2 laps don't mean much. That's technically true, but the way these tires wear here on iRacing, they certainly will wear, and these guys are going to try to go up to that higher groove so they can let the car find its grip.
You can see there is plenty of space for side-by-side racing for these drivers, and they're doing lots of it in the early stages here while the tires are still fresh, because when they go off, they're going to go off in a hurry. Brian Jarzik, one of our championship contenders right now, racing in the pack. That's his teammate Michael Krobach in front of him, and now he's looking to the inside.
If you're going to try the bottom, you better try it early, and what a nice dive down in turn 1 and 2 by Jarzik. Gets around Krobach, all clear all around. Austin Missler still on the bottom side, still trying to do what he can to get by drivers, but right now it seems like the higher groove is the preferred lane.
Mark McCreary, the race leader, washed up the track a little bit on the exit of 4. I think that helped Gary Whitson eat into that lead a little bit. But so far, McCreary has led the opening 3 laps. Jordan Erickson back there in 3rd. He's doing everything he needs to do to try and close up those 2 points on Jarzik.
Yeah, doing everything he can. We might see a 3-truck battle for the race lead soon. Looks like Gary Whitson wants to try something, but he's just not quite close enough to that back bumper of Mark McCreary as they're coming off turn number 4 here.
And soon, now you see why these drivers have been racing so aggressively in the early stages.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Sam. Battle for the race lead. Gary Witt's on the bottom side of the racetrack underneath Mark McCrary. He's going to bring along Jordan Erickson. Let's see if that bottom sticks well for Gary.
He's got up alongside him. Can he get in front of him? McCrary is way up out of a groove. In fact, he may almost wash up into the wall. I think he had to roll out there, and that could cost him second to Jordan Erickson.
Man, not enough grip up there just yet on that very high side to get it really going. That bottom side middle groove seems like that's where the grip is, but that might change when this race goes on.
Yeah, I was going to say, right before that lead change happened, that you can see why these drivers were trying very hard to make passes early on, because now all 16 trucks are single file and beginning to spread apart from each other, but we do still have some battles brewing on the track. I think Mark McCrary has burned off his tyres in the short run here. It looks like he's going to lose more positions.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to save tires at a track like this unless you're going to really take it easy. Mark McCrary may have been burnt off the tires here. He's right now feeling some little pressure from Nick Cohan, the jerky man.
A battle on track for 10th position, and Austin Missler is the one trying to move up into 10th by Robert Barber. Don't know what happened.
They make contact a little bit.
Yeah, don't know what happened to Missler at the start. He started in 5th place and he's dropped all the way back to 11th, but whatever's happened, he's trying to make up for it.
Tell you what, Sam, I have not... Yeah, he's been using that bottom line, and it's really costing him. Guys have gone around him on through the outside. Maybe Austin Missler should settle in line here and possibly try a different line to see if he can keep up.
One truck in the wall, that's Mark McCrary. We talked about him slowly dropping back. Well, now he's rapidly dropping back. He was in 3rd, he now goes down to 8th.
Yeah, I think he hit the wall on the entrance of turn number 3 there, Sam.
Yeah, he just grazed it and the wall kind of sucked him in. And that's going to cost him a lot of positions there. Meanwhile, Ericsson was getting quite close to Gary Whitson for the lead, but he lost a bit of time through turns 1 and 2 that time around.
You could see entering turn 3 there on the replay there, Sam. That was the safer barrier that jumped on out like that. Got a little too close to the wall, though.
I won't say I haven't done that before.
Yeah, we all have. But you talked about Austin Missler dropping back, starting 5th. How about Mr. Excitement, as we call him on Tuesday nights here on Global Sim Racing Channel? That is Drew Carroll, up into the 6th position after starting 13th.
Yeah, definitely the biggest move in the field so far. Tim Knott also up 3 positions. He started 16th and is up to 13th early on. And that battle for 10th is still on as Missler looks underneath Barber. We'll keep an eye on this because they got quite close last time this happened. And they get close again. They make contact this time. Barber slides up the track. And I saw this in the race we covered on the GSRC earlier this week, Tanner. Usually when you see these cars make contact in the middle of a turn at such a fast track, it ends up ugly. But because of the amount of room on this track, or the progressive banking, it seems 2 cars can make contact and they can still save it.
Yeah, in the trucks here at a track like Homestead Miami Speedway, it's a little more forgiving when you make contact with somebody. But if you make contact with somebody in the wrong way, there is a chance for that truck to get completely sideways.
7 trucks. Oh, as we got...
Yeah, whoa, yeah. Everybody just flat out disappeared on my end.
Yeah, that happened down the back straight, and I'm wondering if Jordan Erickson can't see Gary Whitson or something there, because you saw, yeah, that they were overlapping, so something was up with the server right there, and now they're battling for the lead with Erickson on the high side.
Off of turn number 2 here, that's Jordan Erickson going for the race lead after some server problems.
Yeah, and through all of that, we've lost Jackie Pelmore somehow. And Jackie had been running towards the tail end of the field anyhow. So, Jordan Ericsson now leads the race. As a matter of fact, Gary Whitson is dropping back multiple positions. There is some kind of server thing going on. I don't know if this has thrown Gary off a little bit, because he is rapidly dropping back positions up on that high lane. He is now losing 5th position there to Drew Carroll. So on by him has gone Nick Cohan, Brian Jarzik and Michael Krobach. And confirmation on Jackie Pelmore, he did lose the connection, so that's taken him out of the race.
Big gaggle of cars there off of turn number 2, Sam. A lot of them are pursuit drivers as well.
Yeah, I think everything up front, because we also, when we had the battle for the lead, we had the battle for 3rd. And as you mentioned, that's kind of bunched all of these drivers up. And now we've got 3 of our, well, I think our top 4 drivers right now are all of our pursuit drivers. They've all worked their way to the front. Jordan Ericsson in the race leader, the Nick Cohan, Michael Krobach and Brian Jarzik.
Still using up that bottom lane. I'm kind of surprised, especially with the way the tires wear. But yet again, this is a late afternoon setting, so I guess there is some grip down there towards the middle, the bottom groove. And that's what you're seeing right there on screen. Nick Cohan and Michael Krobach and them guys using that middle groove. You can see the dark area.
Yeah, so Nick Cohan, it looks like he's using an undesirable line because the trucks keep appearing underneath him here, but then he gets that run out of the turn. As you mentioned, he could be saving his tyres in the long run here, although, boy, this time they do get side by side. That's Michael Krobach looking for position on him. Jackie Pelmore has rejoined the server. He's coming back out on the track, but he's multiple laps down now.
Multiple laps down, it's very unfortunate, but right now I'm just curious on how the tires are really wearing, because these drivers are acting like these tires are not wearing that much.
Especially in Jordan Ericsson's case. He has pulled 1.5 seconds over this gaggle of cars for 2nd place, and I've got to wonder if that's going to hurt him in the long run.
It could very well be. I mean, if it was me out there, it'd probably hurt me in the long run, but it definitely could be. I would be a little bit concerned in that camp.
Of course, all the battling behind could have helped him, and now we don't have a pursuit 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore, as Drew Carroll, who started 13th, has worked his way up into 4th ahead of Michael Krobach.
Yeah, he's been on the move, and this was Dawson's one of the guys to watch in this race. And yeah, I tell you what, we are definitely watching him cracking the top 5 after starting 13th, about 20 laps into the run. I'd say you're having a pretty good day.
Oh, and Jarzik, I think, probably had to roll out a little bit on the XL4 there. He pushed up towards the wall, and Drew Carroll's going to try and capitalise. He poked his nose to the inside down the front straight. He'll definitely soon start thinking about 3rd position, and that's something that Brian can't afford to let up with Jordan Ericsson leading this race. I think Brian would need to be in 2nd, if not, if not how the bonus points work out. The win in itself could give Jordan Ericsson the championship.
The win definitely could. If I was Brian Jarzik, you need to stay up there within the top 3, at least the top 3, because if the race ended right now, the championship would go to Jordan Ericsson. So Brian's got to do everything he can to stay in that top 3 and make his pit stops count. Don't beat yourself.
And of course, pit stops are going to be crucial here, because there's going to be a few different factors at play, as Robert Barber has been involved in an incident on the back straight. He is smoking, he has spun around, he has brought the caution out. And it's because of contact with Jeffrey Gilliam. Gilliam's engine is also smoking, and this throws everything I was about to say out of pit strategy out of a window for now.
Holy cow, I wonder what happened here. It looked like Barber, he clipped the right rear quarter panel of Gilliam and sent Gilliam flying into the outside wall. That's very unfortunate.
And of course, all of the leaders are about to come down pit road, with Ericsson leading, Cohan, Jarzik, Carroll and Krobach. It's late into the run. They've done 22 laps. Now, 2 tyres you can get away with here. However, the fact that they have so many laps on their tyres, I think most of them will take 4. If anyone's going to take 2, my money is on Bryce Whitson. Let's hand it over to Dawson. Dawson, Jordan Erickson, heading your way.
Yeah, he's rolling down here into the pits. Gonna make his stop. I believe he has the 4th pit box here. We're looking, he is right now jacking up the right side of the car. And yes, he is taking 4 tires here. And it looks like in the pit boxes behind him, it's going to be the same. Yazik coming out really close to Ericsson. I'm going to go that he still took 4. Nobody in front of Ericsson. We're going to say everybody taking 4 there. No gambles.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how many Gary Whitson took, because if he took 4 tyres, he did a very good job of it. Came into the pits, I believe, in 6th, and I think he's rolled off 4th here.
And I can confirm that, Sam, that he did not take 2 tires. Everybody that I've seen on pit road, as Dawson was speaking, took 4 tires. So there was no gamble stops this time around. But if we do get a short run, Sam, there might be some 2-tire calls.
Yeah, so nice work there by Gary Whitson's pit crew to get him back up into the top 5, where he started but dropped back a little bit. Few of the tail end trucks coming back in to get some fresher Goodyears. Well, the lights remain on the pace car, so we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in a moment on the Global Sim Racing channel. The quarter distance is about to be completed here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway as the field comes around to complete lap 25. A Ford Mustang pace car about to make a hard left hand once again. Jordan Erickson is on what you could say is a pole alongside Nick Cohan there, but more significantly Brian Yazik, his championship rival, restarts right behind him. Not going to be a threat though. Jordan Erickson gets a nice restart.
Better restart this time around for Nick Cohan, though. You gotta remember at the start of the race he had a dismal of a start, but so far it's better this time around. Brian Yazik going right underneath him. That is the preferred line on fresher tires coming off turn number 2. I think Yazik got him.
But Cohan is not going to give up. Cohan, remember, is one of our chase drivers too. Well, he needs to win and pretty much have everyone else wreck out. And if they keep racing 2 and 3 wide back there, that could happen.
all pursuit drivers currently in the top 4, and the way these guys are battling for the second position, it is putting a smile on Ericsson's face because he is liking what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. They are battling it out, and he's pulling away.
Yeah, and if these three battling for second end up wadded up, Jordan Ericsson's really going to be liking it. Of course, we hope that they all go to lap 100 and we get a good fight for the championship. But right now, Ericsson, as you mentioned, pulling away as Jarzik and Kohan continue to run side by side for second. Drew Carroll back into the picture.
Yeah, Drew Carroll hopped right underneath, entering turn 1 underneath Michael Krobach. So we do have a battle for second, and we're, fourth place right now. So, and that battle for second is real. It's just not letting go. No, maybe it did this time.
Yeah, Jarzik's not going to like this. Dropping back to third. He's lost out on this battle to Kohan.
And Jarzik got really close to the wall off of turn number 4. You probably couldn't fit a piece of paper between the two.
So, Ericsson leads Kohan, leads Drew Carroll, has made his way up into third. Well, this would definitely give Ericsson the championship at this rate, but a long way still to go as Jarzik filters into fourth, Krobach fifth, Gary Whitson sixth, but he could be challenged by his cousin here, Bryce Whitson. Now, outside of the chase drivers, the cousins here, Bryce Whitson is fifth in the points, Gary Whitson is sixth in the points. There's several points between them, but still, if Bryce does get involved in an incident, Gary may try and get that fifth place for bragging rights.
And I think Gary was the one that got into an incident last week at Phoenix, so I'm sure they don't want any kind of incidents today, like you said there, Sam. Austin Missler right behind him, and our pole sitter, Mark McCrary, behind Austin Missler in the, ninth position.
Now, I am a bit concerned here for Jordan Ericsson. Well, granted, he built up that lead because the others were racing side by side, but did he burn off his tyres? Last time around, Nick Kohan ran a tenth of a second faster than Ericsson, and he's only 3/10 behind, so it will be interesting to see if Kohan can run Ericsson down here.
Tell you what, I think if there's going to be one driver that's going to run down Ericsson, it's going to be that little 87 machine right there, the one who creates the excitement, Drew Carroll, because he's come a long way since the start of the race there, Sam, and right now he's getting closer and closer to that House of Jerky machine, and there won't be long until he takes second place away and then hunting for the lead.
And one thing that is not mentioned not working in Nick Kohan's favour is the two wrecked cars of Robert Barber and Jeffrey Gilliam are still sitting in the pits. Obviously, that's to be expected considering the significant impact they took. That's two less positions for the drivers in front of Kohan in the points to fall back if they get involved in an incident. So all of a sudden, I mean, not that Kohan's chances were looking any good for this championship before this race started, but they're definitely looking even worse now.
But with whatever the outcome would be for Nick Kohan, I'm sure he would like to end this year or this season on a good note with a W under his belt. So, and right now he's inching closer and closer to that win, or actually taking the race lead away from Ericsson. And believe it or not, he's bringing Carroll along with him.
Oh, I can believe it, given the fact that Carroll has made up 10 positions from his starting position right now.
Oh man, what a run by Kohan off turn number 2. Here he goes to the inside, entering turn number 3, challenge for the lead. It's going to be Kohan and Ericsson. We'll see what line Drew Carroll can do here. Not making it stick well on the bottom through 3 and 4. Bump drafting.
Yeah, I wonder how aggressively Carroll is going to race these drivers, knowing that they are fighting for a championship.
Tell you what, with Carroll, I mean, you seen what he did. He bumped him. He gave a little bump draft on the front stretch there to Nick Kohan, and if he would have pulled out and battled with Kohan, that would have just allowed Ericsson to pull away.
I wouldn't be too surprised, Tanner, if we start to see some trucks come into the pits, because all of these trucks still have to make 2 more stops. If it goes green to the end, knowing that they can get about 33 laps on fuel, they could pit now and make it to the end on 1 more stop. Short pitting is a huge way to make up time here at Homestead Miami Speedway with the tyre fall off. will be interesting to see who is the first driver to blink.
I've got a couple drivers that might blink. I think Nick Cohan could be one of them. One of the Whitson cousins could. And how about Brian Yazik, though? Brian Yazik could very well possibly take that into his advantage so he can catch Jordan Erickson and get that bonus point under his belt, because he knows Erickson right now with leading, he's getting a bonus point for it.
Right now, Ericsson is definitely en route to lead in the most laps. He would definitely like to get to the halfway point very soon. Not that at the halfway point he will solidify that, but he'll be en route to it, considering the fact Drew Carroll is coming.
Oh boy, Carroll had a huge run in the middle of the corner on Nick Cohan. He might be looking towards the inside, not just yet.
Lap number 38 now. Ericsson leads Cohan, Carroll, Yazik and Krobok, the top 5. So all 4 of your pursuit drivers with basically Carroll is in the pursuit sandwich.
He is, and he might be playing chase, or shall I say pursuit spoiler here. He goes towards the inside right now on Cohan. I think Carroll had enough of following Cohan. That's a battle.
Cohan bobbled up on the high line there. I think we may have caught it on the onboard there. He got a little sideways, but now he crosses over.
Yeah, it looked like Carroll was looking to throw a block on him, but he's like, all right, you're already there. Might as well just take it, or attempt to.
Yazik, a driver sitting right behind these guys. He doesn't want to get involved in any argy-bargy that happens between them. Aerodynamics very important here when they're going 170 down the straight and 150 in the turns.
Yeah, you need that speed to keep up with any car that doesn't have any damage here, Sam. So you're definitely right. Aerodynamics plays a big role in this race.
Meanwhile, I don't think we gave our Derek Spears designed DSD Lucky Dog out on the last caution. It was most likely Jackie Pelmore, and it will probably be him for several more cautions if we get them in the future, considering the fact he's running 4 laps down after his internet issues early on. But still continuing the login laps.
Oh man, I think Krobach, yeah, he got by Yazik.
And even though they're teammates, Krobok is racing for the championship. Remember, he's only 8 points back. He would need Yazik to finish back in 10th or something. And Ericsson.
Yeah, they're only teammates back at the shop, so...
Meanwhile, you may see a car on the apron here in turns 1 and 2. Robert Barber is rolling back out of pit road after his crash earlier. They got that truck running again.
Curious to see if Drew Carroll can really catch Jordan Erickson, and if he does, he'll bring Cohan along with him.
Well, last time around, Ericsson was actually a 10th faster as they crossed the line. This time by Carroll was a 10th faster.
They're flirting with each other.
How will it pay off in the long run? That's going to be the question here. They roll down in pit road around lap 22, 23 for that first pit stop. Add 33 onto that, they can probably get about another 10 to 15 laps out of these tyres, out of his fuel load rather. But once again, will any of them short pit for tyres? Right now it's looking like a clean run, and if we do go green to the end, it might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, you mentioned short pitting earlier, Sam, and right now I'm just thinking, who's the first guy to do that? I bet it's going to be within the top 7. Somebody within that top 7 is going to short pit it.
And Bryce Whitson is the driver running in 7th place, who's leading the pack of about 3 trucks. But meanwhile, we do have a decent sized pack of the top 6, even though they seem strung out a bit on camera. Well, actually, no, they don't. They seem bunched up there. that is the case. They're running within 2 seconds of another. In fact, second from 6th is only 1 second between them. So yes, short pitting and even gaining as much as a second or two in one lap is going to be huge when it comes to track position.
You know, I think a driver that really is going to want a short pit, I think, is going to be Brian Yazik, because I think he's losing time to Krobach, and I think Gary Whitson gained on him drastically coming off turn 4 there. So I think the slowest car out of this pack is Brian Yazik at the moment.
Wouldn't surprise me to see if he does come in right now. Actually, Gary Whitson is hounding him for that 5th place. Mark Myers making the announcement from 12th position. He is going to be the first driver of the bike.
Got to take that access way to the apron, and that's a tough access way too, folks. You have to go through that, otherwise iRacing black flags you, and you carry too much speed, you're going to go headed off into the grass.
Ooh, it looked like Myers got close to the wall there entering the pits. Now you may wonder, why are we focusing on Mark Myers, a driver running back in 12th position, in which case you probably haven't seen a race at Homestead here before. He's probably going to be flirting with the top 5 once this round of stops is over.
He might, but yeah, on the longer run though, if we continue to stay green and everybody else pits, they're going to gain that time right on back.
No one else has chosen to follow Myers into the pits yet. You saw on camera there, he hit his pit stall okay. Although he's in there for an awfully long time, it looks like, Dawson.
Yeah, he's trying to get some damage. He's got that right side damage from, I think he hit the wall. But he's getting that fixed, it looks like, and that short pit might not help him as much as we were thinking.
This does not surprise me one bit. The first of our leaders to come in to short pit is a 00, Bryce Whitson.
You called it there, Sam. He's headed down pit road, and I bet he's going to take a full tank of fuel and 4 fresh stickers, hop in his pit box. Does not go over, hits his marks just right. Right sides are going to go up here. We'll see if the crew goes on the left sides. No, only a 2-tire pit stop. What a strategy call on Bryce Whitson's part. And Sam, I'm sure, once again, you're not too surprised on his calls.
Yazik, Missler and Kleinhans all coming into the pits at the completion of lap 49. Jordan Eriksson, the race leader, announces he'll be in at the completion of lap 50. Down to Dawson.
Yazik pulling into his pit stall. We're going to see maybe he will try that 2-stop along with Austin Mitzler. We're seeing Yazik's taking 4 here. We got Mitzler also. All of these cars here taking 4 tires. Yazik's down and away, getting down to pit road. Austin now dropping off of pit road, and the 3rd car to come out is Aaron Kleans. He'll make his way off of pit road.
Alright, so now we've got Eriksson and Krobach in the pits, but let's talk about where Bryce Whitson is in comparison to Brian Yazik right now. Bryce Whitson is in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Brian Yazik only just entered the turn.
Eriksson's going to take 4 as well.
I think Krobach as well. He also, he took 4 tires as well on pit road. So those guys are out and away. But yes, Sam, comparison where Bryce Whitson is to Brian Yazik, they're actually, Bryce is on the backstretch and Yazik just reached the backstretch. So we'll just have to see if he can catch him.
And look at what's happened here. By pitting 1 lap earlier than him, Brian Yazik is close to Jordan Eriksson. The problem is here though, Tanner, Eriksson has 1 lap newer tyres, and that will make a difference.
That will make a difference. So, but Yazik just needs to do everything he can to keep tabs with Jordan Eriksson. There's going to be about 1 more pit stop for these guys to do, and they better make it count.
Nick Cohan, meanwhile, is the latest of our chase drivers to pit.
Yeah, Nick going to take 4 tires here and going to pack his truck all up with fuel. Down and away, he is leaving pit road.
So Gary Whitson and Mark McCrary are still circling the track, as is Michael Koenig. Those 3 have yet to pit. Bryce Whitson is essentially the provisional leader. The problem for Bryce is he's only 2 seconds ahead of Jordan, and Jordan's going to eat that gap up very quickly.
Yeah, especially if you're going to compare 4 fresh stickers to 2 fresh stickers. And when I say stickers, I'm talking the tires, folks. And he is definitely eating that up right now as we speak. Yazik's going down into, or not Yazik, excuse me, Whitson's going on turn 1 and 2, followed by Erickson. So he is really eating them up right now.
Yeah, last time around he was 4/10 faster. Now, of course, the strategy call that the 3 leaders who have yet to pit are playing is they're hoping that a caution flag will fly.
Oh, Carnival McCrary!
Yeah, and he's one of the drivers who had yet to pit.
Well, I know you're hoping for a caution, but you don't want to be the caution. He hit the wall. That's down in turn 3 and 4, folks. See what happened here. He just got into the wall. Got a little too tight.
Meanwhile, Nick Cohan and Drew Carroll are battling side by side on track. And they're behind Michael Kobach here. We'll be able to give position numbers for you once our top 3 leaders have pit. Of course, I guess right now just minus
Cohen! Oh, man. That was so close.
3. It was close, but it worked.
And Gary Whitson's pitting.
So, will McCrary come down too? No, he's not. The truck that was just up in the wall is about to lead a lap.
Where's our pole sitter? Gary Whitson's heading down pit road. Now I imagine he's gonna take 4 tires though.
Yeah, with as many laps on those tires, that's what we would be expecting. The problem here, Dawson, is going to lose a lot of track position.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't see him possibly doing what his cousin did and taking 2 tires. Unless maybe he tries to roll the dice, but he's going to take 4 tires here.
Yeah, talking about his cousin, Bryce is losing the lead right now. Jordan got a run on him going down the front straight. He's going to use the high line. He's got those 4 fresh Goodyears, so he can make that work. And Jordan Erickson essentially retakes the lead of the race because McCrary and Koenig in front of him still have to pit.
Man, I think the reason why Bryce took 2 tires, I think he just did to try to get some track position. Yeah, granted, he's losing a lot of time, but there is such a big gap between all the positions there, Sam.
McCrary is coming in. Michael Koenig is not, so Koenig's going to go ahead and lead a lap.
Yeah, Michael Koenig started outside the top 10, started 12th. Now he's going to get himself a bonus point under his belt. So once this all cycles through, Jordan Erickson would be your race leader. And Bryce Whitson currently second, but that's going to be challenged very quickly here by Brian Yazik as they head down into turn number 1. Here they go. Battle technically for 3rd spot. As of right now, it is the 4th position. Brian Yazik and Bryce Whitson. 2 tires versus 4 tires. No competition there. Yazik goes underneath Bryce Whitson.
Yeah, I think this will actually be for second here, Tanner, because now Yazik is behind Jordan Erickson, and of course that's great news for Yazik because he only has a 2-point advantage on Erickson coming in. The problem for Yazik, I don't think he has led a lap today, and so he's really going to have to get up there and challenge Erickson. The other problem is one of our last pursuit drivers to pit. Whoa, Nick Cohan. I was about to give him a shout out, but he just lost 4th place to Drew Carroll. They got quite close in turns 1 and 2. These 2 are going a bit faster than the trucks in front of them, than Bryce Whitson and Brian Yazik, because they have slightly newer tyres and an engine blown. Robert Barber's engine just blew as he was coming into the pits, and we saw him crash earlier. So I guess that's his day done.
Yeah, unless he's got some heavy front-end nose damage. Yeah, he's got a little nose damage. I just wonder if that's just enough to where it's not allowing the air to get to the engine, and that's going to overheat his engine and end his day.
Okay, we're being told from our director here, he's noted that 39 laps have been led for Jordan Ericsson. If he comes around and leads this lap, that is 40 laps he has led today with only 38 left to go.
Okay, so he's got it then. So with that being said, in Brian Yazek's case, for him to win the pursuit or the pedals, he has to win this race. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Because if he wins this race, that's 3 bonus points. I mean, that's how they do it with the NASCAR points system. 3 bonus points for the win, and based upon how many laps he led, or most laps, but in Brian Yazek's case, he'll get a bonus point for leading lap if he wins. But Jordan Ericsson so far has clinched the most laps led.
Yeah, I do wonder if another driver who's already led laps could add up and beat Ericsson's tally, but right now it doesn't look like Ericsson's going to be threatened to lose that lead anytime soon, so it does look like he's sealed the deal. So let's talk about the drivers behind Ericsson and their lap times. Ericsson is pulling away from Brian Yazek last time by. Yazek back in second place, so it's not good news for Yazek. Bryce Whitson, of course, is falling back, being the first driver of the pit and on 2 tyres, and catching Bryce Whitson in a hurry are the 2 fastest cars on track if they would stop battling each other, and those are Drew Carroll and Nick Cohan. And I say that actually, Jordan Ericsson did run the fastest time last time around.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I think according to my stat sheet here, Gary Whitson is also in the ballpark, but he's on fresher tires and the guy's ahead of him.
Yeah, of course, Gary Whitson had that very late stop, and now Carroll and Cohan lay down the competitive time, and Carroll goes by Bryce there, and yep, Cohan's going to follow right by.
And that is Bryce Whitson, who was in 3rd place last time by at the start-finish line. He will lose 2 spots. He's going to pit right now here, Sam. And he took 2 tires last time. I think he's had enough of those 2 tires, and I think he's going to put on some 4 fresh tires.
But also it's lap 66. They can make it about 33 or 34 laps on the tank of fuel. He can make it to the end from here.
He could. Oh, that's actually right in the ballpark, though. 34. Nick
Battle
Cohan.
on track, it's just Cohan and Carroll again.
Yeah, these guys have been battling neck to neck for quite a few laps already, even prior to the first pit stops. Ooh. Ooh, little tap.
Looks like Bryce has taken 4 tires this time, Dawson.
Absolutely, I think he was definitely not liking that 2-tire stop, but I do like that 2-tire call, considering now he can make it all the way and possibly not the rest of the drivers, so that might be interesting. We should watch for that.
Yeah, all of the drivers are going to have to pit again, so how long are they willing to wait, considering the fact if they wait, I'd say even about 5 or 6 laps or so, Bryce will be up there leading the race again, but then of course they will have newer tyres at the end of this event.
Yeah, it's curious to see where Bryce is going to end up, because he was in the top 5 when he made that pit stop, so we'll just have to see when that cycles around, when everybody else starts pitting.
Ericsson continues to lead Yazek around up front ahead of Cohan and Carroll, whose battle continues. And then rounding up top 5, Michael Kobach.
Well, I'm telling you what, I keep looking at Brian Yazek, trying to think what he's going to have to do to beat Jordan Ericsson. He's going to have to at least short pit Ericsson to really gain that time back on him. At least try to, because if it ends right now, Jordan Ericsson will win the pedals. Unless a caution can save these guys. I don't want to curse it. I usually do, but...
Strategy-wise, Tanner, Brian could lead a lap as Kobach comes in. Yazek could lead a lap just by pitting later than Ericsson. But then, of course, the best way to gain time on Ericsson throughout the whole thing is pit ahead of him.
Yeah, it's what you're going to want to do. It's definitely a tough call to make there, Sam, on what to do. And you said Kobach was pitting. That is Yazek's teammate. So I just wonder if the they're doing some radio communication to each other to say, hey, what's the strategy here? What could we do to help each other? And Yazik hit the wall off of turn number 4. That is not going to be good on Yazik's part. Oh boy.
Well, now if that's affecting him, he's definitely going to have to come into the pits this lap and make sure he can get that track straightened out.
I would.
He's staying. No, here he comes. Yep.
Here he comes. And Jordan Erickson, I believe, just got on the radio saying he is going to pit next time by.
He's got to. He can't afford Yazik to be out there for about 2 or 3 laps on newer tyres than him. Despite the fact that I'm sure Yazik's track got a little bit of damage, those tyres are still going to make a huge difference.
They'll make a huge difference, but let's just see how this all is going to cycle out. I think Erickson, he is not going to pit this time by, actually. Wow, I thought he would. Unless it was probably a thank you to a lap car.
Yeah, getting on the radio here. Everyone taking 4 tyres on this last set of stops, it seems like, Dawson.
Yep, Yazik's going to take 4. I'm sure he's not going to mess around with that. Yazik's underway. Also on pit road was Austin Mistler, so he's going to get away with 4 tires as well.
Ericsson, finally! There we go.
Yes, sir, Erickson. Now you don't want to screw up this pathway right here. And so far he's looking nice and clean through this pathway, and he'll hit pit road at 50 miles an hour, which is the pit road pace speed. And now you don't want to overshoot your pit box, which is actually it's a little easier here than other racetracks. They're nice and wide here.
Alright, and he hits his pit box perfectly fine. We expect another 4 tyre stop here, Dawson, as we're watching Brian Yazik on the back straight.
Yep, Ericsson's going to be taking 4, and so will Drew Carroll. He came down at the same time as Ericsson, so they'll both get underway and off of pit road.
Very solid stop by Jordan Erickson. Very solid. And if he doesn't mess up the pathway right here, I think he'll be in solid condition.
Alright, Jordan Erickson rejoining. Michael Krobach will be there to challenge him. Let's not forget Krobach is part of this championship if something were to happen to Ericsson and Yazik. But Ericsson filters in behind Krobach and ahead of Yazik. Now is Krobach going to try and hold Ericsson up so that Yazik catches him? He's trying to do that, but eventually it would have ended in a wreck, and Krobach has to give the fight up. Ericsson goes on by.
Yeah, he had to do what he had to do, Krobach, and Erickson had to do what he had to do on his part as well. And you don't want to wreck the guy, so that's just racing right there, folks. That's classic racing.
So, in front of him, Gary Whitson has still yet to pit, which shouldn't be too surprising. Actually, in front of him, who has pit, Bryce Whitson is still ahead of him, but then of course he's on older tyres, so let's see how much of a fight Bryce puts up against Jordan here.
We'll see. He's actually catching traffic here. Gary Whitson, the only car in lead lap. Now, how ironic would it be for a caution to come out?
Yeah, and they get by Mark McCrary here, who has yet to pit, but he's lapped down. Ericsson easily gets by Yazik on the exit of 4. And now the problem that Yazik has, Ericsson easily gets by Bryce Whitson on the exit of 4. The problem Yazik has is Bryce Whitson and Michael Krobach are between himself and Jordan. Not that finishing second would have done if Ericsson had won anyway, but the problem is now it looks like he's going to be finishing 3rd or 4th behind Jordan.
Looks like it. As Gary Whitson, slower car of that pack right there. Michael Krobach going underneath Whitson.
Yeah, going underneath Bryce Whitson there.
Oh, 2 for 1.
Yeah, Gary Whitson is the leader still, because they're all one-lapping themselves from him. Gary's the only driver yet to pit.
Yeah. So that's good news for Ericsson's part. And Gary Whitson, he's going to stay out longer here. Man, this is crazy how this is all going to unfold, but I think the way this is going to unfold, provided if we don't get a caution, I think Ericsson's going to have this one in the bag.
I was trying to work out, I don't think Mark McCrary has been in for his final stop of the race. He's already been shuffled back several positions though. Strategy not playing out for him.
Prairie, yeah, it's been a while since he pitted. It's been 21 laps.
So lots of different strategies playing out right now. But I think the significant thing here is unless we do get a caution, Jordan Ericsson is going to win this race and the championship. But if we do get a caution, it will be very interesting indeed, because there's 6 trucks on the lead lap, and I'm pretty sure all 6 of them at this point would come down pit road.
Yeah, and that's actually good news, because the more cars that are down a lap at least or more, the better. So, and that's very good news for those top 6 drivers at the moment.
And I mean, any of these 4 drivers, they mentioned it when they became the final 4, Jordan Ericsson, Brian Jarzik, as Drew Carroll. Oh wow, Drew Carroll could still come into play here. He just went by Michael Krobach for second, and I think he pitted on the same lap as Jordan Ericsson. We talked about his pace earlier on here. It will be interesting keeping an eye on him if he catches up Ericsson here.
About 2 seconds is the difference between Ericsson and Carroll, and that would technically pass him. Michael Krobach there would technically be for the second position whenever Gary pits. Right now, Gary currently leading the race. So Drew Carroll, this is interesting to see. I know Drew Carroll has that long run speed.
Getting down from the pits, Dawson just noted that Ericsson is catching Gary at a second a lap. I mean, obviously, I think Gary's sin is here. He's racing for the win. He's obviously out of the championship hunt, so the only way he's going to win now is for a caution to fly. If it doesn't, and he's about to run out of fuel, he'll come down pit road, put on 4 tyres. He won't get a great finish out of it, but this is just a gamble here by Gary Whitson.
Yep, and he's got nothing to lose, and the only thing he's got to gain is a win. So he's going to try a little bit of an alternative strategy to try to get that truck to victory lane. And Jarzik takes Michael Krobach.
Well, that was to be expected, I would say, given the fact that they're teammates. And Krobach, I would almost say at this point, is definitely out of the championship fight. The big question is, can Jarzik catch up with Carroll? And I think the answer to that, honestly, is going to be a no.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen all race long. Jordan Ericsson has been faster than Brian Jarzik. Jordan Ericsson, he's clinched the most laps led, and that's pretty much telling Brian Jarzik, hey man, in order to win this championship, you gotta win this race, because Jordan Ericsson did lead the most laps. And if none of you guys win this race, Ericsson's going to have that extra bonus point for leading the most laps upon you. And Michael Krobach looked like he pulled an aggressive block on Nick Cohan, as now they race side by side in turn 3.
Yeah, Nick Cohan has been racing side by side with a lot of trucks throughout the duration of this race, and now it's Krobach's turn. It was Drew Carroll early on. You almost wonder if Carroll and Cohan hadn't been fighting each other so hard, would Carroll be up there fighting Ericsson for the potential win right now?
Kind of looking to lap times here, Sam, between Ericsson and Carroll. They're pretty much running the same lap times, except this last time by at the line, Ericsson was faster by a 10th than Drew Carroll. They're coming to the start-finish line right now. Gotta see. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is not good for Brian Jarzik here, Tanner, because Nick Cohan and Michael Krobach at battle we were watching caught him in turns 3 and 4. Cohan goes right on by, Krobach out of courtesy for his teammate there is going to stay behind him, but still it's just getting harder and harder for Jarzik to win this championship.
It definitely is, and I think the pressure is on in that number 15 HPP simulation camp. Jarzik doing everything he can just to win this championship, and he actually met with the wall off turn 4 earlier, so he's got to be careful of that as well.
How big is Gary Whitson's fuel cell?
I don't know. He's been out there a long time, and I can tell you when was the last time he pitted. Last time he pitted was 33 laps ago. So he's in that. Yeah, he's in that ballpark on pitting here soon.
Waiting for that yellow. It's not coming for him.
That would be pretty big if the caution does fly. 11 laps to go, 10 laps to go now for Gary Whitson, and he's going to have to make another pit stop. I don't think he's going to make another 10 laps. Let's see. I mean, if I was a spot of the reference time where the Jordan Erickson is at the line now, and Gary's now pitting.
Alright, so Gary Whitson does finally have to bring that number 13 machine into the pits, and that will give Ericsson the lead of this race. Now, here's the thing, Whitson won't have to take much fuel, and he may only take 2 tyres, if any tyres at all. He won't be up there fighting for the lead, but it will be interesting to see where he comes out.
I don't know. Ericsson's coming really quick. He's coming on turn 4. I would take tires right now. You made your bed.
Yeah, Gary finally hits his pit stall there, Dawson.
Yeah, he's at least taking 2 tires. We'll see if he can switch. Yeah, 2 tires, right sides only for Gary Whitson. He's going to burn the rear tires up and get down onto the apron trying to get back on the track. Oh,
he's already dropped back to 8th place. The truck in 9th is on the outside of him right now. That's Mark McCrary. But even on just those new right side tyres, Gary should be able to run down Mark for that position, I think.
He should, but I just wonder how stable that car would be. Oh yeah, he's coming. He's coming with that full head of steam now. Oh, but he's really loose doing it.
That could change things up if he spins.
Mark McCrary just hit the wall on the front stretch just a little bit, just scraped it.
I'll tell you one driver we haven't gave a shout out tonight, because the top 5 has pretty much been the same all race long. The four pursuit drivers and Drew Carroll. Austin Missler now finds himself up in 6th place, and I shouldn't be too surprised because he was 8th fastest in practice. He started in 5th, and remember he dropped to the back at the start of a race. Well, now he's finally worked his way back up there and might be able to get a top 5 out of this.
And right ahead of him, Krobach's looking underneath Brian Yazik. That is going to be a battle for position between those 2 drivers. But yes, Austin Missler is now back after dropping back early on, like you said, Sam. And he's got a shot at finishing in the top 5 tonight.
I wonder if Grobach's pretty much accepted that it's game over for his teammate Yazik for the championship here, so they're kind of just fighting for position right now.
Yeah, they're fighting for position right now. Nowhere for Austin Missler to go at the point. I mean, if he had a huge run, he probably would take the middle, but I don't think that would be very wise to do that at the moment.
If a caution came out right now, that would end it. And this is the most likely place where it would occur.
Yeah, exactly. And for those who don't understand why that is the case, well, iRacing does not have green-white checkers at all. So yeah, if a caution does come out, that would end the race, just like the old days.
4 laps left to go for Jordan Erickson when he crosses the line next time by. He's on the back straight right now, about 7 miles left from him, and a nice set of HPP simulation pedals. There he goes across the line.
Tell you what, they are running even lap times there, Sam, and I think Jordan Erickson was just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, to Drew Carroll in 2nd place back behind him. The battle for 5th, meanwhile, continues. Oh, and Mark McCrary, we've seen him knock down the wall a couple of times today. I guess he needs to come in for some final repairs there. I'll tell you what though, Mark McCrary, if this is the first race you've been watching of this series on the Global Sim Racing channel, and you're saying, well, Mark's got a little bit to learn. No, he doesn't. He is a heck of a driver. He's only came on about 5 or 6 races ago, and he's been running up front around the top 5 each time. This just wasn't his race tonight.
Just not his race tonight, but he is a fantastic driver, folks, and I tell you what, he's been fast the last 2 weeks. Almost lost it, though.
As we say that, he almost Ryan Briscoe's it out of the pit stall.
But a lot of these drivers, not just Mark McCreary, but a lot of these drivers, Sam, that are front runners. It's just not their night tonight, and that's just how good the competition is in this league. Look at this battle for, what, 4th place on back.
Well, we'll keep half an eye on that battle, but in just a few moments' time, the white flag is going to be flying in the air for Jordan Eriksson, who's going to start the final lap here. And in fact, he's crossing the line right now as we continue to watch this battle between Jacek, Krobok and Missler. But I can tell you, the number 88 truck is in turns 1 and 2. Jordan Eriksson less than 1.5 miles away from winning the championship. Between them, the 4 pursuit drivers will have had 19 race wins this season. That is a lot. We definitely had 4 fantastic drivers fighting out for the championship. Jordan Eriksson, he got involved in a couple of scuffles throughout the season, but not tonight. He's kept it clean. He's going to win the race. He's going to win the championship.
Drew Carroll will finish in the 2nd position, Nick Cohan 3rd, Brian Yazik 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Michael Krobach.
That is Eriksson's 6th win of the season. 10 trucks left on the lead lap at the end of a race there. And let's go ahead and give our M-Spec Hard Charge of a Race Award to Drew Carroll there, who started in 13th and was able to rally his way up into 2nd position at the line. Jordan Eriksson going to burn it down for the fans on the front straight. A couple other truck drivers going by, I'm sure, celebrating his championship with him, congratulating him, because he definitely has earned it throughout the course of a season. A very fast driver indeed. Led the most laps tonight. You couldn't take this win away from him. He's done the job, and we'll get a chance to talk to him as well as the rest of our front finishers here on the Global Sim Racing channel and a full race order rundown. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment here on the GSRC. Hello and welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway, where we just wrapped up the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series. Before we go to the full race rundown, I want to say, drivers, if you're watching the broadcast, come into the interview booth and talk to us. We always like to get as many drivers as we can in here for the season finale. We have a few lined up, but before we get to them, let's give you a full race rundown here. Your winner and champion is Jordan Erickson. He crossed the line about 3 seconds ahead of Drew Carroll. Nick Cohan, solid season, came home in 3rd place tonight. Brian Jarzik, a 4th place, but of course probably not too happy that he came in. The championship leader is going to walk out in 2nd place in the championship. Michael Krobach, 3rd place in the final standings after finishing 5th tonight. Austin Missler, solid run there in 6th position ahead of Gary Whitson in 7th. Aaron Kleinhans, really didn't give him a shout out today. That's a good run by him there, up in 8th position after having some rough races this season. Bryce Whitson definitely tried some strategy, didn't really work out in the end, but definitely got him a lot of screen time up there. He finished 9th ahead of Tim Knott. Tanner.
Outside the top 10, finishing 11th tonight, 1 lap down. First car, 1 lap down, was Michael Kunik. 12th place, pole sitter is Mark McCrary. Mark Myers will finish in 13th. Jackie Pelmore in the 14th position. Robert Barber, wrecked earlier in the race, will finish 15th. And Jeffrey Gilliam, also involved in an incident off turn 2, will finish in 16th. And that will round out the top 16 car field for tonight's event.
Yeah, so let's talk to our race winner and champion, Jordan Erickson. Congratulations.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. It's awesome. It feels great. A little under the weather, so it was kind of nice to pull that out.
You were outside looking in, coming into tonight's race by 2 points. Did you think you had it in you to get the job done?
I knew like all the scenarios, what I had to do. You know, if Brian led a lap, I had to beat him by 3 spots. If I led a lap, back to 2 spots, so on and so forth. And I knew that he had the tiebreaker. I also knew that if I went out there, ran my own race, led some laps, and just won, I knew that was going to lock me in. So I knew the scenarios and how the race played out. I couldn't have asked for a better race.
Absolutely not. You were virtually unchallenged throughout the whole race. Drew Carroll did finish 2.7 seconds back of you. Were you keeping an eye on him in the closing laps there?
Yeah, I was. I was watching the gap, just trying to make sure I maintained that. Really, that race was just, if I was able to be the first of the cars, you know, the fast guys that were up front there to pit, I knew that I was, you know, doing good. As long as I could dictate everybody else's strategy. I mean, there wasn't really much strategy because, I mean, what we had that caution at, he went back green on lap 75, so it was 25 lap runs to the end. But yeah, I knew that as long as we kept going, and I really like when we were able to go green. Like, I think I'm fairly good at managing my tires, not pushing too hard in the beginning, and just kind of running my own pace, and it ends up working out okay. Kind of did the same thing at Milwaukee, and then we caught a couple cautions there towards the end of that race, and I'm just glad we didn't get any cautions here. I don't know if I would have been able to hang on, because all those guys are really tight in points and stuff like that, and I know everybody would have raced hard there at the end. I'm just glad there wasn't a caution.
You had a lot of wheel-to-wheel, fender-to-fender action throughout the course of the season. Sometimes I do recall, some sheet metal being brushed. Were all of the drivers still there to congratulate you at the end of the season? We saw some of them coming over the chat.
Yeah, I really appreciate Nick and Brian and Mike all congratulating me. I think The one that I really should apologize to for the earlier parts of the year was Nick. I feel bad for racing him like I did, and I'm sure he feels the same way. We kind of went back and forth, but we cleaned it up fairly there towards the end. Phoenix, I think I don't blame Nick in what happened last week. It was just one of those things. I thought I was clear, and it just wasn't.
Well, at the end of the day, you both walked away with multiple wins this season, but Jordan, you're going to be the one getting a new set of pedals over this winter.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I made a pretty big upgrade in my sim racing rig here in the middle of the iROC season. I bought an Oculus. I think I've talked about that before in an interview. That kind of threw me for a loop there in the middle of the season, not really knowing what I was doing with that thing. But I finally caught on towards the end, so that's going to be another upgrade to my sim racing rig.
All right, well, thanks for coming to talk to us, Jordan, and congratulations on the championship. I assume we'll see you back next year.
Hope so. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the job you guys did all year, and really got to say thank you to Bryce and Gary for putting the league on, and all the guys that helped them with the league. iROC was a phenomenal league. This is my first year in it. Hopefully many more to come. And really thank you to Mark over at HPP. I really appreciate him putting up the pedals. That was one of the main reasons I decided to come run this league, and it turned out to be a great decision.
Absolutely, it did. Well, that was your race winner and champion, Jordan Erickson. We'll give a few seconds here. We'll get Drew Carroll mic'd up, and we'll have Dawson talk to our second place finisher.
Drew, you came into this race, not really a chase driver, but you ended up getting a really nice result. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was just out here to go win a race. We weren't able to qualify, which was disappointing because we got through turn 1 when there was like 5 seconds left, and we were probably going to be hitting an O there. So, no, like you said, we were just coming in here just trying to win a race. Didn't work out that way. Didn't have the track position. The 88 was really good there. Had a great battle with the 21 all night. We were really back and forth. So, it was just a good day for us. It was just when I could run this league, it was a lot of fun. We got a win this year, so it was a good day.
Yeah, I know going into the start of this race, you were first in practice. The guys were asking me, who would I keep my eye on, and I liked that, I saw you missed your qualifying run. I was watching you didn't get that extra time you needed to get that lap in. But you were first in practice, and I thought, well, you know what, maybe he can carry over a little bit of that speed and, see what he does tonight. And it turned out you really did a nice job. Is it weird running out there with guys, you're trying to race guys, you want to get that win, but they're all chase drivers. You race them any different?
It's such a hard balance. I want to go for the win, and I'm going to race everybody the same way. I understand that they're chase drivers, and I understand there's situations in the race where you need to let them have the position and, to be courteous to them. But at the end of the day, I'm a race car driver just like everybody out there on the track, and I want to go out there and just try to win the race. So, it's a shame that we couldn't do it, but, we didn't have really any issues with any chase guys, and just raced them, as clean as possible and came home with a second.
Well, yeah, congrats on that second place finish. I'm assuming hopefully we can see you again next year. Congrats on, finishing out the year on a good note.
All right, thank you. I just got to say, I've only run this league a handful of races this year, but congrats to Jordan. He's been fast every time I've raced here, so congrats to him. It's cool to get a championship. Good job to all the chasers, Brian, Michael, and Nick. They did a great job, and I just got to say, Nick Cohan, I'm going to say it on live air. We had a great battle. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm not holding a grudge or anything. I thought it was just a lot of fun to race you tonight.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in and taking that interview. Sounds like we got the next guy coming in here, Nick Cohan. Joe or Tanner, are you interviewing him?
Yes, sir. I have caught up with Nick Cohan, the Jerky Man, as we like to call you, plenty of times there, Nick. And tonight you finished in the top 3. A championship was pretty much on the horizon, far away, not for you to reach, but I'm sure you would want to bring that House of Jerky machine and end it on a good note.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't, but drove my tail off trying to catch Jordan all night. But got caught up in a couple things in the chase here, and put myself in a bad position here at Homestead. So it's always a lot harder when you're trying to dig out of a hole than stay above ground. And first, congrats to Jordan. I know we raced each other pretty rough in the beginning of the year and tore up some trucks, but congrats to him on winning the championship. We had some fun here in the second half, and thanks to Brian and Mike for racing hard and clean all year, and it was a fun battle here for the championship, like we all knew it would be.
It was definitely fun to watch up here in the booth there, Nick, watching you guys go at neck and neck and have it all come down to here at Homestead. We were watching you tonight, and you were racing pretty hard side by side, bunch of times with Drew Carroll. Now, as a chase driver and a non-chaser, I'm sure you guys gave each other a lot of respect out there on the racetrack.
I don't want to really say that. We normally don't, but we didn't wreck, so I guess we'll take it. I was hoping in practice, I was practicing the outside lane, and it seemed to really come in, and I was hoping I would get to use that in the later run there, but it just didn't seem to work. So it was kind of, it turned into kind of like not a one groove track, but like you just were fighting for the same area, and it was just hard to pass people, hard to hold people off. It was kind of frustrating because turn 3 and 4 are so weird. You can get a run on the exit real good, and it's kind of a frustrating track to pass in a way, but it's also one of my favorite tracks. I had a lot of fun, and racing with Drew was fun tonight. Just bummed we didn't get the championship, but at least we made it to the Final Four, and I believe we locked in the Hard Charger Award, so that's kind of cool.
Yes, definitely. And you talk about the racetrack here at Homestead, and we were talking about tires. Was tires a real concern to you? Because it seemed like you guys were racing awfully aggressive with each other, side by side, making moves on each other in the middle of a run.
Yeah, it was definitely not your normal, mid-year race. I wanted to save in the beginning and noticed everybody was driving hard, and you kind of have to adapt, especially when it's the chase like this with 4 races. You got to adapt to what everybody else is doing. I couldn't just back off and try and save my stuff and just let everybody go. But I also didn't want to put myself in a bad position. So I was selective with who I was racing, and where I was at on the track, and just being cautious but still aggressive at the same time. And I think we put ourselves in a good position. Just that last pit stop was just horrendous. I entered fine. Everything I did on my part was good, but I think I got Kevin Harvick's pit crew because I had a 14.7 pit stop on that second one after a 12.4 on the first one. So that was quite the gap, but it was kind of frustrating. Put me so far back there on that last run, but I think I could have been up and a little bit closer to Jordan, maybe giving him a run for it, but oh well.
All right, Nick. Well, we thank you for coming, taking the time to come talk to us tonight, and we will see you next time on the racetrack with that House of Jerky machine.
Thanks, Tanner. I just got to give a shout out to Mark and House of Jerky and HB Simulations. Thanks for sponsoring all year, being on the truck. It was a great run. Glad to have a shot at the championship here at Homestead. CJ Automotive, K&N. Disney Motorsports, and especially Jason Swan of Steel Horse Racing for everything this year, and for Scott for spotting. It's too many people to thank, but thanks everyone.
That is Nick Cohan, the Jerky Man, finishing in the 3rd position tonight, and I believe Samuel Ryman has caught up with Brian Yazik.
Yes, Brian finished in 4th place. That's basically going to put you second in the championship. I'm sure not what you were hoping for at the start of tonight, Brian.
No, not not at all, Sammy. It's real disappointing. Hats off to Jordan. He drove a hell of a race. I don't know, when it was time to make it all go and make it work, I just didn't have the speed. I don't know why.
How much did that damage? We saw you graze the wall during the end of the race. How much was that slowing you down, if at all, during those closing laps?
It made it real tight, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do. It just just kind of overdrove it, and I thought it was gonna just kind of get up there and get close to the wall, not go and try and knock the damn thing down. But yeah, it certainly didn't help.
Yeah, no, so obviously commiserations on not quite getting the championship here, Brian, but as far as your season as a whole went, you had a lot of second place finishes that, we kind of joked about at the start of the year, turned that into a lot of wins at the end of the season. Are you more optimistic heading into the 2017 calendar year?
I think so. We got a lot of good things cooking and brewing and different stuff like that. So it's good to be excited about stuff, and that's not a bad thing at all. Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting there after the standings refreshed on the page and lost by 6 points. But 24 starts, 20 top fives, 20 top tens, 5 wins, 4 poles. That's not bad. We put together a great season. Just real disappointed, that's all. And I'm not trying. It's still happy for Jordan. I know I don't sound real happy for him right now, but he drove a heck of a season. We didn't, we never really bumped fenders. We were pretty much equal up throughout the year. So it's just kind of one of those deals. It kind of stings to lose, and that's going to wear off here in a little bit. But we got another shot at it here coming up right at the beginning of December. We got the Grand National Series at Iowa. That's my personal favorite track on iRacing, and we got a 9-point lead over there. So instead of going 2 for 2, we might go 1 for 2. But it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, commiserations once again, Brian, but congratulations on, like I say, a solid season overall. We look forward to seeing you back at Iowa and also racing around next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really quick, want to give a shout out to Bryce and Gary for putting iROC on all year. Mark at HPP putting up a set of pedals. I fell one place short, trying to get that, but I wouldn't be. His support has meant a whole lot this year, so that's been nice. Yeah, we'll go get it.
Alright, so that was our 4th place finisher, Brian Jarzik. Let's go down one more position. Michael Kobach, our 4th pursuit driver, has called up a ton of sharp.
Michael Krobach, tonight you finished in the 5th position and wasn't enough to win the championship. You had a lot to try to gain to get to that championship spot, but tonight wasn't meant to be. Tell me about your night.
Yeah, Tanner, we just didn't really figure the track out all night. We had a strong HPP simulation truck, but Jordan Erickson just flat out whooped everybody tonight. He had the field covered, and I tried to get up there. Had an awesome spotter in the booth there, Woodrow Mahan. He was spotting for me, and we tried to shake up some strategy there and gain some track position by short pitting, and it worked for a little bit. And I knew I was kind of out of the points, and I was trying to do everything I could to help Brian Jarzik win the championship, but nobody could get by Jordan, and nobody could do anything. So, fun night, but came up short.
Yes, sir, and you're going to end the season on a good note with 3 wins and 15 top 5s and 18 top 10s. I'd say that's a start of a season. Any more racing for you for the 2017 season?
Yeah, we'll be racing over in the Premier Racing League probably, and maybe some little iROC races again, and some short track streets. You know, just running all over the place. We got some awesome partners on board with HPP Simulation and Clipping That Apex, DSK Designs, Canadian Mini Indy, Sim Racing Apps. Looking forward to 2017, but you know, from where we started off the year in the Truck Series here, we were sitting 40th in points. Never even dreamed we'd even make the playoffs, and you know, got 3 wins here, made it, finished 4th in points. I would have loved to beat Nick, you know, for that 3rd spot. I was fighting my butt off there at the end to try to get by Brian once we were all out of the points there to try to get 3rd back. But still happy with the top 5 run tonight and 4th place finish in the points, and looking forward to 2017. Got to thank all my Whitson Motorsports teammates for an awesome year. Gary, Bryce, Brian, Austin, Jeff, Bobby. You know, it's been a fun ride, and looking forward to what next season brings.
All right, Michael. Well, we thank you for taking the time to talk with us here tonight, and we wish you the best of luck in your future races for the 2017 season. We'll see you on track, and I'll see you on track too at a time or two.
Thanks, Tanner. We always have fun racing together.
As Michael Krobach finishing out the year in the top 5 finish, and I believe that is it for the interview. So, Sam, how do we say we wrap this up?
Yeah, well, we certainly have wrapped the season up here, and what a thrilling one it has been. There were some incident-packed races during the course of the year, but you'll have that in big-time auto racing. At the end of the day, we had a nice championship fight that went down between 4 of the top drivers in the series. As we mentioned, 19 wins between them, and at the end of the day, it was the driver Jordan Eriksson who got more wins than any other driver throughout the course of the year, 6 in total, who ended up taking home that set of HPP simulation pedals. If you like what you see in the iROC HPP simulation series, as we mentioned, the Grand National series is also still going to be racing at Iowa, I believe late in this month or early next month. I have to double check my calendar there. In December, okay, early next month. And then there's also going to be a winter series going on for iROC over the course of, well, the winter, December through early March, I believe it runs through. And of course they will return in 2017. All of that, it has either been confirmed that we're going to be covering it on the Global Sim Racing channel, and then of course next season we're still in discussions, but things are looking good, so we hope you'll be back here next year to enjoy that. And Tan, I would say we saw a very nice season of motor racing here in the iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series.
We definitely have, Sam, and I tell you what, folks, I am proud and honored to be a part of the Global Sim Racing Channel group, and being alongside you, Sam, in booth each and every other week in this series. It's been an absolute blast, and I am definitely looking forward to the future.
And we all are indeed. So for the final time this year, we have got some people we would like to thank. The organisers and the competitors in the iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series for putting on an enjoyable season for all of us. Thanks also to the makers of the various software and hardware that you see them listed on your screen right there. Thanks to the team for the season, Tanner Sharp, Joe Peak, our camera guru Dougie Beard, as well as many others who have helped us throughout the year, including our pit reporter tonight, Dawson Brock. Additionally, you can find out more about the Global Sim Racing channel at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. A special thanks, as always, goes out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. Even though this was the season finale for this series, there's still plenty of races coming up on the GSRC. We've got them all on screen right now for you, so be sure to check those out. Mark them down on your calendar and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.